Now you go ahead and demonstrate the open camera. For those of you who don't have neither the Samsung camera nor the Google camera, this is a good alternative, which is the open camera. We have others in that class, but those are paid ones, and we're not going to talk about those ones. But if it so necessitates, then next time we'll talk about those. But right now, we'll talk about the open camera.
So yeah, even if you have the OnePlus camera, definitely you can switch to open camera because it is very accessible,
10:16 p.m.
as you will
Open
see
camera is using your camera.
in a
Tap to change.
short while.
Landscape. Settings button. Out of grid. Exposure button. Set.
So on the top of the camera, on the top of the app, you have the settings.
Settings button. Portrait. Lock screen. Selected. Arrow. Not recognized. Device unlocked. Open camera. Settings button. Gallery button. Settings button. Gallery button. Pop-up settings. Exposure button. Lock exposure button. Switch between multiple cameras button.
And here you have that multiple cameras that I was talking about. Let's see what it does. So this is one of the area that it does not tell you whether it has switched to back camera or front camera. I wish they would do that.
Switch to front camera button.
But here there's a button called switch to front camera
Take photo button.
and take photo. So everything is
Switch to
labeled
video mode button.
nicely.
100% zoom slider.
This is the zoom slider. You can zoom in and out with volume keys.
Switch.
Let's just go to
Camera. More camera
settings
control.
and
Repeat
see
mode interval. Repeat off. Timer off.
what is there.
Yes. Processing set. Locate. Camera preview. More camera control. Repeat mode. Repeat. Timer off. Camera control. 1. Camera controls in list. Face detection. Use face detection instead of focus areas on. Switch.
So if you install open camera for the first time, face detection may be disabled and you need to enable face detection by going into settings of the app.
Timer off.
And there's timer,
Repeat off.
there's repeat,
Repeat mode interval. No delay.
there's no delay, so
More camera
there's no. And here you have more camera controls where there are advanced settings like
More camera controls.
exposure and all
Touch to
those
capture.
things.
Take a photo just by touching or double tapping the preview in list. Pause after taking photo. Pause the screen after taking a photo with the option to share or delete the photo. Off. Switch. Shutter sound. Play sound when taking a photo. On. Switch. Timer beep. Beep when timer is counting down or for repeat mode delay. On. Switch. Voice timer countdown. Speak the countdown for timer. Volume keys. Take photo or start stop video recording. Audio control options. Take photo video when a noise is detected or on voice command. When enabled. Audio control sensitivity. Noise level sensitivity for audio. Loud noise option. Bluetooth remote control. Lock photo video orientation. If set, the orientation of the device will be ignored and the orientation of the photo video will be with respect to the specified orientation. No lock. Save location. Folder to save the photo video files in. Use storage access framework. Whether to use storage access framework for saving photos and videos. This should be enabled to allow saving to external SD cards. On Android 10 Plus, this option must be enabled if you want to save in a folder outside of DCIM. Off. Switch.
Now, if you want your photos to be saved outside the DCIM folder, then you have to enable this.
Save photo prefix. The prefix to use for the save file names for photos. Save video prefix. The prefix to use for the save file. Time format for file name. Local time. Show camera when locked. If enabled, open camera will still show above any lock screen. You'll still have to unlock to access settings, gallery, etc. On. Switch. Perform autofocus on startup. Whether to autofocus when open camera is started. If you have the problem. Calibrate level angle. This. Use storage access framework. Whether to use save photo prefix.
So that is it
Back
from
button.
the settings.
Open camera. More camera control. Camera preview. On screen way.
Then you have the preview, you have on screen, that is more for sighted
Photo
users.
and video settings.
You can adjust your photo and video settings.
Photo settings. Video settings. Location settings.
These will have things like quality, your resolution in video, and all those things. So you can set it accordingly. I'm not going to go into that.
Processing settings. MISC. Online help. Launch. Camera 8. About. App and debug. Camera API. Select camera 2 API to enable extra features such as manual modes for exposure, focus, white balance, along with RAW if supported by the device. Changing the API will cause a restart. Original camera API.
So camera API, if it's supported by your phone, then you can select this and you'll get some more advanced features, although it's not required. This is only if you are a pro photographer and you need exposure and all those things then.
About. Privacy policy. Open source license. Settings manager. Settings button. Out of. Gallery button.
So that
Pop-up
is
settings
it
button.
from the
Exposure button.
settings. So now we are going to take a photo and see if it detects face. If it shows you that the face has been detected, so I'm
One face at left of
pointing.
screen. One face at left of screen.
So it is detecting the face
One face at center.
and it's saying it's center.
One face at center.
Now I have my phone very close to my face and it does not tell me that I'm
Zero
very
faces.
close. But if I take my phone extremely close, then it tells me zero
One face at center.
faces.
One face at left of screen. One face at center. Zero faces. One face at center.
So I took the photo, and while
face at left
taking
screen.
the photo,
Zero
it
faces.
says zero faces.
Zero faces.
Now if I switch to
Switch
the
to front
front
camera
camera,
Open camera is using your camera. Tap to change. One face at right of screen. One face at bottom of screen. One face at center.
The front camera
One face at
gives
bottom of
you
screen.
more information.
One face at center.
So now it tells you one
One
face
face at
at
bottom of screen.
center,
One face at center.
but it still does not tell you
One face at
that
bottom
you
of
are
screen.
too close to your
Zero faces.
to your phone. Now let's see if you can label the image.
Take photo button. Switch to video
So
mode button.
let's go to
100%.
gallery.
Settings button. Exposure button. Lock exposure. Settings button. Portrait. Location settings. In list. Open source licenses. Settings man. About. Oh. Gallery button. Gallery button. Allow photos to access photos and media on. Deny button. Allow button. Photo taken on April 17, 2021, 10 hours, 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Back to camera button. Photo taken on April 17, 2021, 10 hours, 20 minutes and 50 seconds PM in pager.
So this is the photo we just took, and let's select it by long press.
Back to camera. Photo. Back to camera. All photos. More options. Share button. More options. Photo taken on April. Delete from device. Use as. Slideshow. Print. Help and feedback. Saturday, April 7th. Details.
No, there is no
Slash storage slash. Home plus AC2. Close info button.
there's
Close info
no
button.
easy way again to rename
Photo taken on April
your
7th. Back to camera
photos.
button. Out of pager.
That is the most unfortunate thing in all the four cameras that we spoke about, that there's no way to rename the image, and that should be included in the camera gallery.
And I think the reason why we don't have that is because, like we always say, though, no one is really thinking of us. And when I talk about us, I mean those of us who are blind. And the reason has to be for the fact that, when sighted people took pictures, they recognize who they see. And so they know this is Warren, this is Austin, or whoever it is that they are looking at. So there's no need for them naming pictures. And so they're coming from that mindset. And as a result of that, we don't have a rename or things like that. But I think now that, we are making these things accessible to blind people, I think it would be a good thing for manufacturers to start doing that and putting the renaming feature in there instead of me going through using my file manager to be able to rename pictures. That's no bueno.
Now sometimes I think, now okay, there is app like Lookout. If you do explore mode and all, you can come to know that okay, here is the stairs, here is the tree or whatever. But sometimes I think, what if camera apps could like recognize objects and tell us like, okay, this is a tree, you're so close to the tree or you're far from the tree, it's good for photos. Warren, do you think this will happen in the future?
That should be something that should happen. However, like I said, and I've always argued that it is not always easy for those of us who are blind to take pictures. Say I want to take a picture of a dog and it sees it and it says it's a dog. And I don't know whether it's seeing that because it sees the feet of the dog or whether it sees the back end of the dog. I want to take a picture of the dog. I want to show the face of the dog as well. And until we have those type of things, it's going to be really hard for us to be, really, really good at taking for the, pictures and things like that. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but especially with objects, it's a little bit tricky. And I think third-party solutions may be the best route to go. But I think that as we get a handle on these things more and more accessibility is being talked about in the communities, most especially among the manufacturers and things like that. I believe that definitely one of these days we're going to get there to where we too can be doing really good photography and things like that. But until then, I don't know, Austin. What do you think?
Yeah, especially it's going to be difficult to take photos of moving objects. That is going to be really difficult unless some kind of technology comes, but it's going to be really difficult because there is a time delay when the camera focuses to the time we click take photo. So that is going to be very difficult.
At least, though, for now, though, we could take pictures of people, and most especially, if
Yeah,
you want
that
to
is
take a picture
important.
of someone, it lets you know if that whether or not they're in the center of the thing, whether they're at the bottom, and things like that. And therefore, one could adjust it to one's liking and make sure you have a good shot. And so, it's a good start. It's definitely a good start.
When I went out, I took a photo of my friend, and my friend was so surprised that I took an exact photo, and they were like, "How is it possible?"
And most especially if you're doing it so, maybe I have my headset on so they're not hearing my camera or my
Yeah,
phone
they didn't
talk.
know. I just made the volume low.
Oh my gosh. So some things kind of actually work to our own advantage in a way if you think of it. So that's good.